Hello everyone, it's Farket here, and in this structure overview, I'm going to cover the bonfire. Now, the bonfire is a very large fire. It's quite expensive at 20 leaves, 10 sticks, and 5 logs, especially that 5 logs part, because it's only got 3 to 4 lights and then it completely destroys itself. It cannot cook, boil, or make stews. It can burn bodies, but the primary thing that the bonfire is good for is using it as a defensive structure, because enemies will collide with it very easily, and they'll even run up on top of it, catching themselves on fire. So if you place it at an entryway of a gate, it can be quite effective. However, the bigger mutants will destroy it if they hit it. Cannibals can't destroy it though. Now, the burn time for the bonfire is quite low in comparison to the other fires in terms of how much resources it costs. It does provide a lot of light when it's burning on its initial burn or when it's got fuel, though when it's dying, it goes so dim that you can't even see that it's lit. I had to rely on sound effects for it in tests, and as a result, I couldn't test it the same way I tested the standing fire, because I didn't know when the fire went out. It just burns so low that you can't even tell if it's lit or not. I don't know why it was made like that. I think it might have been an oversight, but it's actually quite disappointing. It can be lit with leaf pile traps and all the other ones, such as Molotovs, flare gun, spray can, etc. Everything but fire arrows, all are the same in that aspect. Though I mentioned it can burn bodies, bones will be more difficult to gather because they might spread everywhere around the fire. Though it's not a massive issue. They don't fall inside it because it's got a collision box, so things can't fall inside it, that I know of. There's one different thing about the bonfire is that it has 50 health, whereas the basic fire, campfire, and standing fire only have 1 health, which means it's quite a lot more durable, though it only take 1 or 2 hits still from mutants to kill it. Now, it's speculated that it will attract a large amount of enemies. As you could imagine, a bonfire in real life would attract attention, but there's nothing in the code to suggest this. I'm fairly certain it's the same as every other fire in that it attracts 1 enemy patrol route, and that's it. It only happens once. Though because the fire dies, it's very likely that you're going to be building more of them, which will attract more enemies. If you do place it close to water or in water, it probably won't be able to light, so avoid doing that. Though one of the cool things about it is that because it can be lit by leaf pile traps, you can set it up on top of a tower, and if you shoot about 200 times, you'll probably land 1 shot and set it on fire. It does look kind of cool, but if you keep hitting the fire with a fire arrow, it won't set it on fire. And this should be fairly obvious, but it cannot be placed on boats. Only the campfire and the basic fire can. Now, for some reason, the bonfire actually reaches full flame intensity as soon as you light it. I'm not sure why. It might have been an oversight by the devs, which basically means that it goes from completely dead to being fully on flames. Probably something I've never noticed before, but I never build the thing, so yeah. Now time for the fire testing. Now, when the bonfire dies after it's been lit 2, 3, 4 times, the sound effect it makes when it dies is the same as a basic fire, which is this little tingle noise. So you barely can hear it actually dying. Even though it's still filled with logs, it just crumbles ever so gently. In one of the tests I did, because I thought the fires went out, but that was the problem with the dimness effect. I didn't realize that they were still burning, or one of them, or God knows how many, because they burn so dimly. I don't even know if dimly's a word, but it was actually quite annoying. But as a result, I had to just test one at a time to confirm how long it burnt. And because the burn times for adding fuel are random, it makes it difficult to give a better pool of how long the fuel lasts, like I did with the standing fire. I also did the Molotov tests with this one, because I already finished the standing fire. I thought I'd test Molotovs on the bonfire instead. And it does appear to add a little bit more time than normal fuel. It could be just the randomness giving me mixed results. I'm not sure. For example, one fuel added 4 minutes and 40 seconds, though a Molotov added 7 minutes and 39 seconds. So the burn times of the bonfire are as follows. The initial burn is 20 minutes. Consecutive burns, that means you've lit it again, will last 1 minute and 40 seconds. A rain-affected initial burn will last 13 minutes and 50 seconds. A rain consecutive burn will last 1 minute and 5 seconds. And as you can see from the fuel times on the screen right now, it is definitely worth adding fuel to the fire after its initial burn. So 1 fuel gives nearly 5 minutes, 2 fuel gives 7.5 minutes, 3 fuel gives about 13 minutes, 4 fuel gives 14 minutes, 5 fuel gives about 17 minutes, 6 fuel also gives about 17 minutes, and 7 fuel starts getting close to 20 minutes, 10 fuel did 20 minutes and 6 seconds, which is more than the initial burn time. It's hard to say what the right amount of fuel to use is. It seems around 5 fuel is the optimal amount, though for the bonfire it may be a little bit more. I'm not sure. Though from what I've outlined in this video and my experiences with the bonfire, it isn't a fire worth building. I don't recommend using it unless it's for aesthetic purposes to make something look good. If it lasted unlimited lights, it would be better, and it probably should considering the amount of wood that's on it, but that's just not the case. And because it burns so dimly when it starts to die is something that is just frustrating. Can't even see a fire inside it when it's at that point. I've decided I'm not going to put timestamps in this video because timestamps are something that I really struggle to do with motivation. And because these videos are relatively short, I think I should be able to skip it. It's just such a tedious task that just really puts me off making videos. So I thought I'm just going to can the idea. There'll be a conclusion at the end. It'll be written out because it pretty much just repeats everything I've said in the video. Good if you're a reader though. So yeah, in conclusion, I don't recommend making this fire. It really doesn't have much of a place, except for making it defensively. Though as we learned in the last video with standing fires, all fires affect as effigies do. So if you make one and stand next to it, it's going to be a lot easier to fight enemies with. Except for mutants, they don't care about that crap. They'll just bowl you over any chance they can get. If you're going to use it for aesthetic purposes to make something look good, or to make a defensive gate. But yeah. Anyway, if you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe. Cheers.